be a lot more.
Yeah, because there could be people that may follow you that don't follow me that were on the cruise.
Right. I'll get rid of this jacket.
The golf one is at 166 views. There we go.
Nice.
But like, I got like an illuminations video from like April of 2013 on here that I took. It's so bad though, because like the quality of like the camera was so bad, like compared to now, you know.
What year was it?
2013, so 10 years old. Illuminations video.
It probably has a lot of different stuff, even from the last show, because it probably changed a lot between then and.
I got some dream stuff. I got Emily meeting Anna and Elsa when like you had to wait like 6 hours to meet them.
Oh man, I remember that. That's crazy.
I got some Fountain of Nations videos.
I missed the Fountain of Nations.
Catastrophe Canyon video. Like that one's funny because it's like my first time ever seeing it.
The last time you saw your wedding ring?
Yeah, right. I think it might have been that day. It was that day actually because because that was my birthday, my 30th, and I have a video of the guy at Hollywood and Vine singing "Happy Birthday" like outrageously. Like I actually send you that link. Like it'll crack you up. It's like obnoxiously terrible, but so great. I'll send it to you after the show.
Yeah, do it. Hey, everybody, we're just hanging out till the top of the hour when we start the live show. Actually, I need to put a tweet together. We are. See my bottom third? Hang on. Watch this. Yeah. Look at my. Hang on. I got to make it go away.
Your lower third.
Yeah. How do I. Wait, here. Comments. Hide. Look at mine.
Haven't been trying. Like Max Scherzer has had like the most ridiculous like career in baseball.
I know. Yes, he's the first player who's going to be paid $15 million by 3 different teams in the same season. They said
so dumb. In 2013, man, the Tigers had him, Verlander, David Price, Miguel Cabrera. Like, oh my, that team was so stacked. I don't know how we didn't win the series.
That's like a Hall of Fame roster.
It was. Oh, Susan was in Grand Rapids. That's awesome. I actually went to the opposite side of the state. I was in Alpena, so I was like in northeastern Michigan. So we were far apart this weekend, Susan.
You look beautiful wherever you are.
Did I win today? So Jeff, I didn't play with Bob today. So we played at a private country club that my buddy won passes for. And Bob was invited because he plays with us every week. But like he doesn't listen to this. But like I'll tell you, I think my brother was scared of the dress code.
my wife asked exactly the same thing this morning. She's like, where's Scott's brother? I was like, I'm gonna explain why.
I think he was afraid of the dress code, which I actually saw some people breaking on the course. Because like one of the rules was dumb. So like you couldn't wear like a backwards hat was like something. And I saw a bunch of dudes wearing backwards hats, but whatever.
Really?
Yeah. I don't think it was as strict as they made it sound. Because like I think the untucked shirt.
Of course, people probably didn't like enforce it. Like I wouldn't probably cruise through the clubhouse with this stuff like that.
I think once you're on the course, I don't think people were paying attention. Like the ranger. I mean, all these courses have like a ranger driving through them, but
yeah.
Like I think the tucked in shirt, the nice golf shorts, like my brother just doesn't like dress nicely. Let's just put it like that. So I just think it scared him.
Get it?
But it was fine. I shot a 105 or something. It was a hard course. Like it was like so tight, like woods everywhere. So like I was actually pretty happy with it.
Those kind of courses are hard, man.
So I don't hit my driver anymore because like I'm always like slicing it like crazy. So I was just hitting 4 hybrid off the tee. So losing a lot of yardage, but at least I was hitting it in the fair. I hit 7 out of 14 fairways on a tight course. So I was pretty happy with that.
Yeah, no kidding.
The greens were just like, it was like, it kind of reminded me of like when we play like in Florida, like just championship kind of green areas where like they're all elevated. So if you miss, it's just going to roll all the way back down, most likely into a bunker. There's one hole I hit like 3 sand trap shots because I just could not get it out of there. It was just so frustrating. So by default, I mean, maybe I did beat Bob. I don't know.
Yeah,
we'll never know.
Yeah,
he was just no shows.
Right, you won by default. How far was that course from your house?
45 minutes. So I've actually played way further than that. So not too bad. But it's funny, like they had a championship course and the honors course. So when we called to make the tea time, we're like, so tell us about this honors course. And he was like, dude, you don't want to play that. It's like one of the hardest courses in Michigan. We're like, okay, championship course it is.
I thought the championship course.
That's what we thought too. So that's why we were asking about the honors one.
Like, dude,
and by the photos, the honors one looked cooler. So we thought, oh yeah, we'll play like the cooler looking one. Because the honors one had like more elevation, you know, like cool looking shots. Like I'll send you some of the photos. I took a bunch. Like it was a cool looking course, but yeah,
they're like, no, dude, no. Oh my gosh, Susan's next door neighbors. We had wicked storms yesterday. We had the strongest wind gust ever recorded at the airport in July. We were watching out our back window last night, and our people behind us have like one of those toddler like plastic swimming pools. We just watched it go like take off, and it ended up in our lake.
That's nuts. That's nuts.
That was wild yesterday. There were 60,000 people without power.
Wow.
Nuts. I'm glad we still have ours though. 18 nights. Wow.
Whew.
That's a stay.
I mean, that's about close to what I did in summer of 2020.
Yeah, that is true.
Captain Mike, look at him. My man, Captain Mike Bankhead, is like crushing this like streak of like 5Ks. Like
5Ks. Yeah,
my man is on fire with that.
He is.
But I think Captain Bankhead knows a thing or two about 18-night vacations. Of like he's done some like big cruises and tied them to some other trips. Like he knows all about that.
He does know about that. I was going to try to find that story about that smell-o-vision or smell-elephant. Hang on. You see that story? They're bringing it to the kingdom.
Smell-elephant and Hoozles or something.
Yeah, that's. Let's see. I mean, I'm usually positive, but that just sounds ridiculous. Here it is. It's a Storybook Circus adding new interactive experience. You gotta be kidding me.
Captain, I might need to pick your brain on some Alani because we'll be going out there in like 75 days, I think.
There it is. That sounds so dumb. Oh my goodness. Blue Bayou. I recently found out you can get refillable mint juleps at Blue Bayou. Oof.
I prefer that.
I don't think I'd want to get mint juleps. Aren't things I'd want to get a ton of refills on though. They're kind of like one and done for me. They're good.
So yeah, so I
but I don't think I could drink like more than maybe two.
I'm so weird with this. Like I ordered the mint julep with my beignets because like I want to be cool, but I don't necessarily like the mint julep all that much.
Yeah,
but I feel like I have to get it when I get beignets.
I like you got to have it. You're in New Orleans Square, and it was fine. Like I like.
Yeah, I like the mint julep. I just can't have like you, Mike. I just don't think I can have a bunch. Now we're talking unlimited beignets. Watch out.
Oh, dude, yeah, forget that. I'm about to become friends with whoever because of the beignet thing that you're telling me about. That Jared said I need to become friends with that bartender.
Tabar.
Yeah, see, I've already that's happening. That is happening.
That guy was awesome. Like, it was the time that you showed up a little after we got there. We were with Mallory and Emily and Elizabeth, and we played trivia where you sat on the floor.
Yeah,
Tabari came over. I was like, just make me whatever you want, man. Just make me a Tabari special or whatever. And he comes back. This is awesome drink. He's like, next time I'll make that a triple for you. I'm like, well, I think I'm good with this one.
I was watching Love Boat this morning, like I do every day when I'm working in the office in the morning. And this morning, Isaac made a drink for somebody, and it was like, he makes the best drinks because he makes them all doubles. And he's like, I charge you double.
Exactly. That's funny. Exactly.
That's the bomb. We will have a couple of topics, Vicky, but you can talk about anything you want. You can do a mini trip report. We can talk about anything, but I do have a couple of things I want to bring to the table. Scott might too. So we'll get rocking. It's 6 because we got calls coming in already. So we should probably stop yammering and get cracking. All right, here we go. Well, hey, everybody. Welcome to the BOGP Open Line for Sunday night, July 30th, 2023. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com. And, of course, one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Hope everybody's having a great wrap to the weekend and a great wrap to the month of July. We got one more day as we're recording here live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. And we're going to be taking your calls here for the next hour at 407-413-9395. Again, that's 407, everybody's favorite area code, 413-WDW5. So if you want to talk about anything Disney related, a mini trip report, news of the week, anything that's on your mind, give us a call. We'd love to talk to you over the next hour. And joining me tonight to have that conversation on International Best Friends Day. It's my Woody to the Buzz here. He's my buddy, Scotty G. What's up, Scott?
Happy International Best Buds or whatever that was day. I did not know that was.
It's got to be true on Twitter, you know. I guess
we should have met halfway. You know, we should have met somewhere in maybe Chicago or somewhere.
You're Phil Mickelson in it today on the championship course.
Yeah. I played a private country club today, so that was awesome. I'll tell you, after we're done signing off here, it's going to be 8:00 my time. And I'm like, man, where did the weekend go? I don't want it to end because I need to rest up because I am exhausted. I did a 15-hour day yesterday. Left my house, drove 3 hours north, went to the beach, was at the beach for 6 hours, and then played mini golf, had a nice dinner, then drove home, didn't get back home till 11 p.m. Left the house at 6 a.m. Then I turned it around and played golf all day while sunburned from the previous day. So I'm exhausted. I need another day for this weekend, Mike.
Yeah. And I'm in a text thread with Scott and our good friend Wade up in Nebraska. And all week this week, we just been texting back and forth about Wade and I were trying to outdo each other with the feels like temperatures, right? In Omaha hit 120 for a feels like. So he beat me. I think we only got to 116 on the day he hit 120. So congratulations, Wade. You won. But Wade was like, oh, we got a storm coming. So then, I was like, oh, we'll bring it this way. Then we got a big storm too. And Jennifer's asking, we did not get damaged, knock on wood. We did watch our neighbor's swimming pool, toddler swimming pool, end up in our lake. It was wild here. It was crazy. We just got lucky that we didn't have damage. Neighbors did. But thanks for asking. But I will say in that thread last night, as we were talking, and I'm sure people have done this, you sent a picture, dude, you were a lobster. You sent the picture from the beach. It hurt me to look at that picture. When you sent that picture, I got goosebumps on my skin. It was pain, just transferred to me because of how red you were. And so I hope you're recovering 24 hours later.
I'm recovering. I put a bunch of aloe on last night. And this is unlike me. It was one of those days. It was a sneaky beach day, with the weather, because it was breezy. It was calm. The sun was shining, but I didn't think it was going to be that hot. And I just came back from 2 weeks in Florida, in the Bahamas. Oh, my skin is adapted to it right now. That was a big mistake. I should have had my sun shirt on. I should have screened up. Big error by my part, but I paid the price for it. And I tell you, when I was swinging the golf club, every time I would move my shoulders, I was like, oh my God, that's because that's where I felt it the most. But it's all right. I will recover and hopefully be good for work tomorrow.
That's right. What were we thinking of you, man? I was getting ready to 2 hour deliver you some aloe vera, man, because I was like, oh, that just hurts to be alive at that point. But the self-abuse is no excuse. You didn't wear a shirt. So.
I'll tell you, man, it was a good dude. We were in Lake Huron, and there was this bay they call Thunder Bay, and the waves, it felt like I was in Typhoon Lagoon, Mike. It was amazing. I was like, this is a free wave pool we're at right now. And it was a small little beach access. We were the only ones there for 2 hours at the start of the day. It was awesome. It was a really great beach day.
You guys, Michigan, you should be how Tim the Tool Man Taylor, what's his real name?
Tim Allen.
Tim Allen, because we see Michigan commercials down here in Missouri all the time. I guess because we're within driving distance, so they send a lot of money our way.
You're pure Michigan commercials.
Yeah, pure Michigan. You do more than he does because you're always on Instagram, all over the state with these. I'm like, God,
it's a beautiful state, man.
He's like, another beach? I'm like, yeah, I didn't know Michigan had so many. They have more beaches than Florida. Apparently.
We have two amazing coastlines on Lake Michigan and Port Huron. Then you go up to the UP and you got Superior. Marlessa knows all about it. She got to see all that.
It's wild. Okay, so couple Disney stories I want to bring to the table, and then we can have some conversations again at 407-413-9395. I heard this story and I didn't know if it was true. I thought it could be The Onion, one of those things on Twitter or Twitch or social media that you think you're being punked. But apparently it's true because Ricky's written about it on the Mouse for Less, unless she's getting punked. It says Storybook Circus is adding a new interactive experience. And here's what it says. Guests who visit Storybook Circus in the Magic Kingdom will soon be able to take part in a brand new interactive experience. Smelliphants on Parade will be a family-friendly search and sniff adventure. This new experience will be presented by Scentsy, which is the official home fragrance of Walt Disney World. Now, not a lot of details have been released, but based on the concept art that was released, it looks like there will be some large elephants that include circus-themed smells. For example, the one elephant looks like it may smell like popcorn. And then follow the Mouse for Less for more details, because we don't have many details on this, but I don't know. Like, I'm very positive when it comes to Disney. Like, I'm imagining that there has to be like a board. I think as Disney fans, do we not all imagine that there is some big room in Imagineering somewhere with like a huge whiteboard of ideas? How did this one get released into the wild? Seriously, like, was this not like, I don't know. Like, I mean, Scentsy must have come up with a big check. Like, we're going to do a scratch and sniff in Storybook Circus. And I mean, the fact that it's to an elephant, I don't want to smell an elephant. I've never smelled one, but I'm guessing it's not pleasant. I don't know. What do you?
It's funny because like you're more positive. You're more positive than me, I think. I mean, I'm pretty positive, but I'm okay to be critical about Disney sometimes. I'm all right to speak on that, but like I'm not mad about this one. I think it's kind of great because I just think about that area in Storybook Circus. Like I could just imagine like kids just like loving that, like running around, like trying to smell the popcorn, trying to smell the candy or whatever. Like I don't know, like that area just seems like that splash pad doesn't do much for me. Like I think that's a big footprint. Well, elephant's footprint, let's put it that way. And like I think they could do some cool stuff with that. And like I'm excited for them digging out of the box. Like this is like kind of unique. So I'm actually thinking that it's going to be pretty awesome, but that's just me.
You're bringing me around to it. I mean, that's a good perspective to have on it. And I'm always one to trust Disney and like, at least let it happen and see what happens. But I'm just saying, like, just when you put it on paper, just to put it on paper, like we're going to do this thing. Okay. Like, I just want to hear the board meeting, right? Okay. Everybody's around this long table. They're in suits, pantsuits for the ladies, I mean, like power brokers for Disney. I don't know. Maybe they're not because they're Imagineers. Maybe they're in like, Hawaiian shirts for all I know. I don't know, but they got their oval name tags on and they're all in there. It's a Tuesday afternoon. They're getting stuff done. Okay. Here's the deal. We're calling it Smelliphants on Parade. And they're all like, yes, we're going to do this. I want to see that meeting. Like I know it's Disney and it's not, Xerox or somebody, some big corporate company, but it just cracks me up. I don't know why. Like when I heard that, I just could not believe it.
It's yeah. When you think about it that way, yeah, like the logistics, like how did they get to this idea, right? It's just kind of funny. I think it's going to be good though. I really do. Like that area could use something and it's unique. It could be a flop. Like Disney's really good at that though. Like they're trying something, right? And if it doesn't work, then like it's going to be on some blog post. It's going to be on Derek from Touring Plans, like top 10 fails of the year or whatever. It's going to make us laugh. He's going to have a great drawing that goes along with it, which will make us laugh and have a good time at the end of the year. Or else it's going to be super successful. We'll see.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
it's funny though. Yeah, it's a funny concept.
Like the biggest comparison I saw was like Disney's doing this in Storybook Circus and Universal's building Epic Universe. Like okay. What's going on? I'm not going there. Okay, here's the other thing that, and you've been actually out living a life this weekend. I haven't had a whole lot going on for once, so I've been on my phone more than I probably should have been this weekend. And this is going wild on social media. The Hatbox Ghost thing. They're installing the Hatbox Ghost into the Haunted Mansion at the Magic Kingdom, which is a really cool effect. But people are losing their mind over the fact that I believe the Hatbox Ghost is going to go into a spot. And I don't know if this is even 100% confirmed, but I think people are getting the idea, and it may be confirmed, I don't know, that the Hatbox Ghost is going to be in a spot before Madame Leota, which if you are a fan of the Haunted Mansion, you know that in the storyline of the Haunted Mansion, that ghosts do not materialize until Madame Leota calls them, or the spirits materialize when she does her thing in the crystal ball.
Yeah.
I mean, people are losing their mind over this. Like, and I'm trying to, I don't know where I fall in this. Like, is this Disney just like one more thing? They're losing their edge because they're not paying attention to story. Should I hate on that? Or should I be like, I'm paying $7,000 to go on vacation down there. It's not going to ruin my vacation if I see the Hatbox goes 37 seconds earlier. I don't know. Like, what do you think? Because people have opinions on this.
Yeah.
It's wild.
I mean, so what does Disney do best? Storytelling, right? Like, I feel like their storytelling and their attractions is spot on. So, as you said, I've been kind of tuned out. So this is my first time hearing this is from you. So this is like initial reaction, and I kind of see why people are mad. But you're talking about Diz Twitter, which people are going to be like nuts about anyway. They criticize everything. So, but if you're your average guest that's just coming down, like you go once every 3 years, not super into it, go, when you get a new child that hits a certain age or whatever, like you're probably not going to care where the ad box shows up for the most part. This is for like the super uber Disney fans, which we are that like doing the podcast. So I can kind of see where people are upset about it. It doesn't fit the storyline that well.
Yeah, see, I know.
We're not on the same page today, are we, Mike? No,
no. I mean, it's not. I'll be honest. It is not going to bother me where they put that sucker in that Haunted Mansion one place or the other. It really is not going to bother me. Like, I'll just see it and I'll say, "Ooh, that's cool." But that's me. But I also kind of understand that the argument I think people are saying is that Disney does need to pay attention to the story. If there is going to be a cohesive storyline, as there apparently has been since the Haunted Mansion is opened, that that is what Madame Leota does. She calls the spirits. The spirits don't materialize till after she does this, and that is kind of, like, first timers probably don't ever notice that. They probably think there's ghosts throughout the entire mansion. But then, that's one of those layers of a Walt Disney World vacation. Like, I've been on that ride 10 times and I never noticed it. I didn't see a ghost until I got to the dining room or something, the ballroom, and it's like, oh, that is so cool. Only Disney did that to me. Before that, it was just like busts and coffins and stuff like that. So yeah, they kind of do need to pay attention to that stuff. But I mean, honestly, I'm not going to lose sleep over it either. I don't know. I'm kind of both ways on this one.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, I'm fine either way. Like, it's going to be a cool effect. Like, I've seen the one out in Disneyland. It's super cool. But yeah, I wish it would tie more to the story because, like, that's what I was saying. Like, Disney tells stories better than anyone. I mean, that's how they started, was telling stories, right? So, like, to like not be linear to the story or like do things backwards just seems kind of weird for them is all. But
it does. So Trails End's back open as a
dude, psyched for that. Yep. Like, so I think, Trails End was not my favorite. Like, it just wasn't my scene. But during COVID, the early days of COVID, we would go over there because you went with us once, I think, and we would get like that fried chicken family meal. It was like $25.
That was the best deal ever.
Yeah. And we would eat inside Trails End. So like that was back in, like, you could take your mask off when you're inside eating. So you get this nice blast of air conditioning. You would relax for a while. You got a good meal that was pretty cheap. So like I liked like them doing like the counter service kind of. So I'm actually excited for this. And like looks like they're bringing back some of that counter service. They have pizzas now too and everything. Like I thought the menu looks really great. I'm pretty excited for it.
Yep, we got that back. So there's another option. I think it'll be good for the folks that are actually staying at Fort Wilderness. I mean,
did I read something like some of the sides are like by the pound? It's like I'm at the deli or something. Like, yeah, can I get a mac and cheese? Can I get 2 pounds of the mac and cheese and 3 pounds of the chicken? Like, that's what it seemed like to me. Like when I was reading like an article that it's like by the pound ordering.
Scanning Ricky's article.
It just made me feel like I'm at like the supermarket, right? Like ordering side dishes by the pound.
I would take that though.
Which makes sense. Like if you're going to take it back to a cabin, RV or whatever, your cabin or whatever, right? Yeah, you're just like, we'll do a pound of mashed potatoes, 2 pounds of mac and cheese, and 6 pieces of chicken. Like, I don't know.
Look at that, Marlessa. She says she's been losing her mind over the Hatbox Ghost thing too. So I know people have. Anyway, so last thing is we're getting a new Indian restaurant in Disney Springs called Eat, EET. So that'll be cool. I like trying new places, and Disney Springs it's called Modern Indian Food. Eat.
Yeah. I love that kind of food. It'll be awesome. I love new restaurants at Disney Springs, but then like my problem is, Mike, and I know you are guilty of this too. I'm always going to go to Bauhaus and Homecoming because those are like my favorites. I need to like spread it out a little bit more when I go to Disney Springs, but you find something you like and you tend to stick with it. That's what I do, at least.
But here's the thing, though, even if it'll spread the crowds out and it's an option, because here I end up going to new places because other people drag me there, right? Because I am also one of those people who eats at the same places over and over. But then somebody will be like, let's try this place. And I'll be with them and I'll say, okay, let's go. And I'll enjoy it. So I'm excited to have this there. And I think this place will be super popular because, I mean, it sounds like it's going to be a similar kind of experience to a Sanaa over at Animal Kingdom Lodge. Sanaa is popular, but I think the thing is, it's a lot of work to get over to Kidani Village, and I think this will be way more accessible because I think most people go to Disney Springs at least once in their vacation.
Gosh, now I want like Sanaa bread service for dinner tonight. Like I am like craving that now. It sounds so good.
Oh, I know that's what everybody was saying. I saw like when I saw conversations about this on social, like please let them have some kind of non-bread, kind of platter service, something like that. So. That is our stories for the week. Mirrors Connect and Sunshine Flyer have merged. That's another thing we could talk about, but not a whole lot of other stuff going on. Let me see. That's about it. So if you want to give us a call, now is the time. 407-413-9395. 407-413-9395. Tons of people tuned in here on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. The conversation is going wild in the chat. So thank you for all of that. And we have our first call. We have actually 3 coming in at the same time, of course. So let's just hit this one and see who we got. Hey, who's joining us?
Hey, this is John from Massachusetts. How are you guys doing, Mike and Scott?
Hey, I'm doing great, John. How are you tonight? Thanks for calling in.
Yeah, doing well. So all the cruise episodes that have been coming up in last week were great because we just got back last Sunday from our first Disney Cruise Line. We did the Western Mediterranean trip.
Ooh, yes. Man, that sounds like an awesome cruise right there.
So we've been talking via email, and I know Scotty's thinking about this one, so that's why I was going to have you give him a little insight on this.
It's nice to be able to maybe pay it back a little bit. It was a really good time. It was, like you guys have said, like the shows were just top notch. Even the sort of B-level shows, because this was a 7-night cruise. So, of course, there was Believe, there was Golden Mickey's, there was Beauty and the Beast. One night was just a magician. One was a ventriloquist. One was a juggler. And, on paper, it was like, is that going to really be that cool? And we had a great time.
Yeah.
Still.
I love that stuff.
Dude, I'll never forget one time me and Mike, it was just our family's cruise, and Justino the magician, man, this guy was like a riot because he would be like in the adult club and he had this whole like thing. What was it, Mike? What was his thing? Like,
so he did like magic. He was like a variety guy, right? He did magic. He did, visual effects, all kinds of stuff. But then like right towards 3/4 of the way through his show, he like slows down and gets all serious. And he does this thing and he puts up it was like a tombstone on the video board, and he shows like 2 years, like he shows like a birth year and a death year, and he focuses on the dash. And I still remember Scott and I talk about this all the time. He's like, the whole point of this was like 4 or 5 years ago at this point, don't waste your dash.
Like live your dash to the fullest, I think is what he said. I'm
like, we came here to have fun.
I'm just watching a magician, and now I'm like questioning all the decisions I've made in my life. But yeah, not to go on a tangent there, John, but like that when you're talking about that just made me think of it.
I think we were on the dream. I think we were sitting in Evolution when that happened. We're looking at each other like, what? This was supposed to be fun.
Like, I'm about to start crying. I just want to see some magic. But anyway, yeah. So they were in the main theater, like the juggler and stuff. Is that what you were saying, John?
Yeah. So they were there. I think that they also had some of the adult shows, but our kids weren't old enough there, so yeah, we didn't go to those. But yeah, no, those were all really good. And the pirate night, they actually showed the new Indiana Jones, which I wanted to do, but we were just exhausted. This was actually our second week in Europe, and we were going nonstop the first week in Portugal as well. So we just needed a night to just slow down and rest. So we skipped the movie. We skipped the pirate night, which didn't start till like 10:15. And we just slept, which was sorely needed at that point. But The food was also really good, especially the dinners. You guys always say like it's all about the cast members, and we actually we're almost crying a little bit that last day, saying goodbye to our wait staff and our hostess, because they were
definitely the room hostess. I'm crying. Like, how can I bring you back with me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to make my own bed.
And some of that's what you put into it, right? If you're talking with them and asking them about themselves, you get more of the relationship than just, not really interacting, which would be sad.
100%. Now, so we've been emailing back and forth a little bit. And I wanted to bring up this point before I forgot, because you brought up a point I wanted to discuss with Scott too, even. And in our listeners as a whole here, our audience and folks that check this out on the feed on Thursday. And I thought it was such a great point, because I've never thought about this. And all the time I've been cruising with Disney. And by the way, happy 25 years to Disney Cruise Line. They're celebrating it today as we record. You mentioned something, because this was your first Disney cruise, and you decided to take your first Disney cruise as a 7-nighter on the Mediterranean. And you said, hindsight being 2020, you think maybe a first cruise should be possibly a Caribbean cruise or a Bahamian cruise, kind of looking back on it, because of just a few factors. So looking back on it, give some thoughts on that, because I think that's a good discussion to maybe just think about.
Yeah. So again, it was a great time. We'd been in Europe for a week, and we were definitely in the explore different things, explore this city, because we don't get to Europe that often. Right. Mm-hmm. And so the excursions were very good to great, but they all felt too short. It's like, I'm in Lisbon for the second time in my life, and I think we had like 6.5 hours by the time we were able to get anywhere. And so from that viewpoint, in Europe, we were thinking, gosh, would have it been better to be in the Caribbean, where it's just sort of beach island, beach island, beach island? I'm not trying to put them down at all. They're all beautiful places. But versus, we're in different cities in Spain and Portugal and France, and then we end in England. Like, these are not places we get to very often, and it's almost like the Cliff Note version.
Right. You're not trying to take in 1,000 years of history in 6 hours, where a beach day in 6 hours, you feel like, okay, that was a successful day. Like, I get you. I get what you're saying.
And I think for like a second cruise, a third cruise, like then I think it's a little different, because the ship was new and we were liking exploring that as well. So it's not meant to sound negative. It was just something we noticed, like, we just wish there was even more time. Right. I mean, that's every cruise, right? But
no, I totally hear what you're saying, John. Yeah, because like
it might be on that.
Because in Europe, like you're saying, like it's more about the excursions, right, or the destinations you're going to. For me personally, because like I've never been to Europe, but even if I've been like a couple times, like you don't get there very often, as you were saying. So like going to France or whatever, and like you want to take advantage of all that time off the ship, and then like you come back and then you go to dinner and then you're tired or whatever. Like you're really not exploring the ship. That's why I kind of like what you're saying. Like maybe these Bahamas or Caribbean cruises are better, because you go to the beach for a few hours, then you come back, and then you can do a lot more, spend more time on the ship. I definitely see what you're saying for like a first couple cruises standpoint.
Yeah. Again, it was still great. Like, I don't mean that to sound negative. That was just one of our takeaways from it. So it was a good point when I was chatting with Mike about it. In hindsight, it was seemed a good question to bring up here to get you guys' take on it.
No, it was, because it really does make you think, because I mean, Scott and I both are, we had this conversation during the Wish cruise, because we're always talking about the next cruise, and we're like, hey, what are we doing next? And I know he was looking at going and doing a med cruise. And I said, my family, we don't have passports, so we're probably getting them here shortly. So that shouldn't be a big deal. But we want to sail. We've never done Eastern. We knew we wanted next summer to do a 7-night cruise, because the Wish, we love the Wish, but 4 nights was, again, just too short. Like, we just want to be, we didn't get off in Nassau. We just want to be on the ship, but even 4 nights was just too short. So we're doing the Eastern Caribbean, and I love sea days. And the thing is, with the Eastern Caribbean run, you get on at Port Canaveral and you don't even get off the ship until your 3rd day. Like, it's 2 sea days right off the bat till you get to your first port. and that's my jam. Like I love that, and it only has 3 ports in a 7-night cruise. You know, you go to Tortola, you go to St. Thomas, and you go to Castaway Cay. That's it. And that's my jam. That is what I want to do. I want to be on the ship. I want to explore it. I love that, because the stuff you mentioned, John, is the stuff I love. It's not the big shows. It is like the magicians and the boots and boards and those guys that play, you know, the crazy, you know, instruments and stuff. Like I eat that stuff up. Trivia's every night. Like I could do that every night. Karaoke. I love that kind of stuff. So that kind of stuff is my jam. You know, the destinations are great. And I do want to get to Europe. And that is actually my biggest thing I want to do when I retire is the Panama Canal. I want to see the engineering of it. I want to be on a 16-night, you know, cruise or whatever, how long that cruise is. I want to see all that. But for now, you know, for me, it's going to be that more time on the ship kind of situation. And Scott was talking about the opposite. They're looking at a couple of different options, because I think you were saying you don't want to be on the ship so much. If you're going to go all the way to Europe, you want to see the sights. That's going to be a totally different perspective for you guys.
Yeah. Alaska's another one we're looking at too. And like, you want to see the sights there, even though like those sea days, like you're going to like glacier, like that just sounds so awesome to me. But my big thing too, Mike, is like, I've done the Caribbean and Bahamas like several times now. So I just want to see other parts of the world, you know? And I think cruising is a good way to do that, because with Europe, and like, John, I have a question for you about like, because you spent a week in Europe before the cruise, it sounded like, then you did a week on. Like, I like the idea of like moving to destination, but don't have to move my room. Like my luggage and my room stays the same every night. So I think that makes it pretty nice. Like, how did you feel about that?
Absolutely. No, I really like that part. And a couple of times I caught myself saying, okay, we got to get back to the hotel by 4 o'clock or by 6 o'clock whenever we had to get back on. And yeah, you correct me, it's the ship, not the hotel.
Right. But it kind of feels that way, right? Yeah, I totally get it.
That hotel will leave us behind.
So yeah, we were in for a week beforehand with my wife's parents and her sister's family as well. And so we were with some of their extended family, aunts and uncles and cousins, for a week in northern Portugal. So we were able to do a lot of exploring around there as well, in between family meals. So that was really cool, but it was very different as well. And yeah, I think if you also like can build in some time before and after to explore other parts, I think that'd be an awesome piece of it, where you can knock out a few different destinations pretty quick. But in a couple places, we sort of felt like we saw the place, but we didn't necessarily experience it. But I like that. Or Lisbon, where it was hot and we couldn't do a lot because it was like August in Florida, where it was just like, you know, we'd move for half an hour and we're like, we're hot, we got to take a break.
Yeah.
Well, I also see too, a cruise in general, a lot of times it's like a Whitman sampler, right? You go there, you see it, like you just said it though, like you see it, but you don't experience it. You get a little taste of it and say, you know what, someday I might want to come back here and spend like a weekend, or I might want to spend a week in this location, just at this one port, and really dive deep, you know. But you know, it's like a little sampling. It's like a Whitman sampler. You just kind of dive in, grab a bite and see what that's about. Okay, I might want to get a whole box of that someday.
Yeah, it's a good way to get a taste. Exactly.
We're like trying to figure out where we go next.
Yeah,
you know, will it be Europe? Will it be another cruise? We'll figure it out. But
it's a good point. Yeah. It's good stuff. Well, I'm glad you had a good time, but that's a great conversation to have, though. But man, just think about the sites, how different it is. But you guys did say you had some kind of rough seas. I mean, you guys struggled there a little bit with some seasickness on your cruise.
Yeah. I was a little seasick the first day. My wife was down for the count on day 2 till about just a little before dinner time. And then oddly, after our first excursion, I had a smaller bout of it for a couple hours. After that, we were fine. But, you know, that's one reason we were really glad we did the 7 days, the 7 nights, because, you know, that was a rough start. And had it been only like a 3-nighter, we would have been like, well, I guess we can't do this. But after that, you know, second bout for me, we were fine. You know, we made sure to stay with the Dramamine after that when we were on land, and you know, to prepare us for the night. So
yeah,
but yeah, it was actually it was calmer in the Atlantic, oddly, than the Mediterranean, which makes no sense to me. But
I know.
There would seem to be less rocking there.
Yeah, I know. That's we said that. It kind of shocked me because I would have thought the Mediterranean would be flat, but I guess not.
And this was on the Dream, right? I think the Dream's doing those sailings right now, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Love
I
that
love
ship.
That is, I know. I love that ship. That's the ship I've been on the most.
Yeah, me too.
Great
Yeah,
ship.
love it.
It's a great ship.
That's a great ship. Miss it.
Yeah.
Well, hey, John, thanks for calling in and thanks for sailing. And hopefully
Thanks,
you'll be back out there soon. Those ships are awesome.
Take care, guys.
All right, John, you have a good
Appreciate it.
night.
We'll see you guys.
Have a great week, buddy. Talk to you soon.
Mike, and I quick just address a question in the chat. Like, first off, I don't know if this is the guy's real name, but I love it. If it is, give me more.
Give me more. Yeah, I don't think that's probably the name of this.
I know. I think it's just their YouTube
It is
handle.
pretty awesome.
But so the question was, do you do 2 weeks at Old Key West or 1 week at the Polynesian? I think you're asking the wrong guys, maybe, if you want us to say the Polynesian, but
I'm saying
more time at Old, you get an extra week, and like Old Key West is my jam. It's my home resort for DVC, and I just love relaxing there. Is like a true vacation to me when you're at Old Key West. So that's the winner for sure.
Yes, Old Key West for double the time. Mr.
You can always visit the Polynesian too to have like a meal or whatever. Like just go over as a guest, and visit and hang out. But definitely stay at Old Key West for 2 weeks.
Yes, Mr. Gimme More. Go to Old Key West.
And Jay from Charlotte. Okay. Hey, I like the handle, man. Give me more is awesome.
No, it's not. I'm taking that away. It's not Jay from Charlotte. It is Gimme More.
It's Gimme.
Mr. Moore, call me Gimme. All right, 407-413-9395, 407-413-9395. Yeah, John and I were emailing when he got back, and he gave me lots of feedback from his cruise because he was like looking forward to it for a long time. We were emailing, beforehand and stuff. And of course, I've never been to Europe, so yeah, I was just telling him about the cruise life in general. But he had that one line. He said, "I don't know if like for a first time cruiser, if Caribbean or Bahamas would be better." And I was like, that's a good point because the ports in Europe are going to be more intensive. Like you want to see more. You don't just want like
it was a good point. Hard to explore the ship, really. Like you want to just do. Yeah, I like that argument. I think you both are right on track there.
All right, we have our next call. Hey, who's joining us?
Hi, it's Alexa.
I can't say your name, but hey, how's it going? Because I don't want to launch everybody's things. That's okay. We'll call you Miss A tonight. How's it going? Thanks for calling.
Yeah, good. I am driving, but like hands-free and everything, but let me know if the quality is too garbage.
Hey, I drive a Jeep Wrangler, no doors, no tops. Sounds great to me. When I sit next to my wife, we just scream at each other all the time. So it sounds great. We'll make it happen.
Okay, great. Okay, so the reason why I wanted to call, even though I have to drive tonight, is because I won't get a chance to call in the near future. And we just came back from Dollywood, my husband and I had an amazing time at Dollywood. And I actually think that Disney could do some of the things that Dollywood is doing.
So I went to Silver Dollar City last year and I kind of felt the same way. And I think these two parks are very similar. And Matt Parrish says that Silver Dollar City is like Disneyland years and years ago. So tell me what you think Disney could learn from Dollywood.
Okay. So, it was just adults on this trip. It was just my husband and I, but we did stay at the Dreammore. So the official Dollywood hotel. And it was honestly, it was the whole resort experience that really felt very Disney-like while we were there. The price point, I think it's I haven't seen what Disney World hotel prices are like in the last 2-ish years, but it seems like it's maybe like a Wilderness Lodge Animal Kingdom where it's the low end of deluxe or maybe high end of moderate to stay at the Dreammore. But it was definitely a deluxe quality accommodation, and it still had a lot of the extras that I think maybe some people feel that Disney World has had going away a little bit. So, it had the bus service and everything, but you also get kind of fast passes included if you stay at the Dreammore and you get tickets to go to Dollywood, which is usually an upcharge for regular day guests. But I think, and I know that Disney's kind of reworking their whole fast pass system to be paid, but I think that the way that Dollywood it when they loaded like the roller coaster trains, is they would do 50-50 as their ratio. So they would load one car that was all like from the regular standby line, and then one car that was from like the fast pass line. And I know that from the Touring Plans podcast that it's usually like 80-20 for Disney World, and so I think it kept the lines moving everywhere.
Yeah, that's more.
It's one thing.
Yeah, keeps everybody flowing. Yep.
Yeah, and then also, even though we didn't have children on this trip, I thought that, and this is something Disney could do without spending too much money. I heard you talking about like the smell if it's on parade or whatever. Dollywood had so for kids like all across the park with like little slides and stuff. But then for kind of the medium age kids, they had this thing that was free called the foam zone. And they basically would like, they had this just, I don't know how to describe it other than a giant inflatable pool with this crazy, like huge bubbles. And the kids would just like run into this wave pool of soap and come out like completely covered. And they had these gigantic, like larger than adult sized rubber duckies. And like kids were having a blast. And even aside from building more rides, it just felt like there was a lot of activity kind of going on everywhere in between rides.
You know, I think what I'm hearing too, and I think this is kind of common, these more regional theme parks like Silver Dollar City, Worlds of Fun, Holiday World in Indiana, Cedar Point, these kind of locations do have more of these like summertime activities. Like you say, this foam pit, this foam pool, these kind of things. And I think that they do because they're not Disney. They're not Universal. Disney and Universal, take it or leave it, they have the brand power to command higher prices, you know, and they have the brand loyalty because they've been there since 71. They have the infrastructure nobody else has, you know, and people are going to fly into Orlando to go there. They have to do things like this. And but I mean, it's a better customer experience many, many times. Because when I was at Silver Dollar City, they had way better snacks. I mean, they had killer, but it was almost like you were at a town fair. Like it seemed like many times it felt like when I went around a corner, somebody just thought of making this snack up this morning. You know, Disney, it feels like they go through like 12 focus groups before they put anything out. It felt like, no, just Bob down there decided, you know what, we're going to make this new kind of tater skin today, you know, and they do. And it makes it better. But I think these regional places have more freedom to do fun stuff like that. So I hear what you're saying. I think they have more freedom to do stuff like this.
Yeah, and I do think that there's like I do want to go back to Dollywood, but I'm like, you know, in 5 years maybe I'll go back. But like if people are feeling like they want to give another place a try, I think like go to Dollywood one time, super fun. I really loved it, and then like, you know, you're gonna go back to Disney.
Yeah.
But it was just it was really fun because I hadn't really been to a place except for like Disneyland or Disney World in a while, so that was like really kind of cool to see what was going on. And then the third recommendation as a millennial is they had a Starbucks in the lobby of the hotel.
Don't tell my daughter.
And that's pretty hard to beat in the morning.
You just sold Mallory, so my daughter Mallory be there because she's up there this morning at our Starbucks getting our dog a pup cup. So there you go.
Yeah. So it was really fun. But I'm also excited, and hopefully I can call back later in the summer, because this week I'm actually going on a big trip to Europe, and I'll be spending a day at Disneyland Paris.
Yes, definitely let us know what you think about that, because you would have the perspective of the domestic parks, then Paris, and then Dollywood, you know, your regional theme park there. So you have lots of thoughts there. So yeah, please do. And have a good time over there. That'll be amazing.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Cool. Thank you for letting me call in, even though I'm in the car.
Hey, anytime. Remember 10 and 2, keep it between the lines.
Yes.
All right. We'll see you later. Stay safe out there. All right. Talk to you later.
Take care, Alexa.
Okay, bye.
All right. Bye-bye. I think she makes a good.
That's a place I've always like. That's actually been on our list of a place to try. Because we could drive there. I mean, it wouldn't be the most ideal drive, but we could drive there and just check it out for a couple days. Like, there's some cool areas in Tennessee that we want to see, and
I really want to go there.
Yeah.
That whole, because like we had a friend Adam that lived in. They used to go there all the time. Adam and Susie in is it Gatlinburg? The whole
like with the Smoky Mountains and stuff. That's where Elizabeth wants to go. And I was like, well, if we do that for a couple of nights, we should check out Dollywood too. Is kind of like what I've thrown back at her. So yeah,
that's what I want to do. Like, I mean, I want to go to Dollywood, but I mean, I think Gatlinburg's like a whole deal.
Yeah,
like,
it absolutely is. Yeah,
I think it's like mini golf, and I think it's like Branson, basically. I'm guessing.
Yeah, but we've talked about doing that.
And Vicky brings up a good point. So this was a story like a couple of weeks ago that there was this story going around that there's this $2 billion park that's going to go into Oklahoma that a bunch of Disney Imagineers apparently have put together. Now they haven't broken ground or anything. They apparently just have blueprints. I mean,
a lot easier to make blueprints than break ground. So I'm not really buying into that. That just seems like a weird destination. Like, I don't know.
Oklahoma is hot. Like that, the spot where they're talking about putting that, I mean, that is probably one of the hottest places in the country in the summer. Yeah. Like, it is blazing hot. In July, it would be hotter than Orlando.
And I saw some arguments about this too, which I totally agree. Like, where Walt Disney World and like Anaheim works is because like there's nearby airports, right? Like there's not a real like nearby airport where they're talking about building this. So if I wanted to fly to go to this place, then I had to rent a car and like drive like another hour and a half maybe to the destination. Like that's a lot of work. I feel like, I don't know. Yeah. And it's Tornado Alley too.
It's Oklahoma. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of reasons. And I mean, I'm not saying like Oklahoma's fine. Like, I mean, it's the Mid-South is what they call Oklahoma. It's not the Midwest, but it's good people down there. But I just think, it's a weird spot for it. I mean, I think it'd be interesting, but man, the weather would be brutal down there in the summer. I mean, because we just got back from Orlando and I saw today the heat index was 108 when I looked at Orlando today. Yeah. And I bet you Northeast Oklahoma, it was worse than that today down there. It's smoking. I mean, people be falling out down there in July. I couldn't imagine you keep the place open. I mean, just be like walking on the surface of the sun. It's crazy. So
just got to do what you do in Florida and like pop in and out. Like that's always the strategy, right? You get some AC, you get outside for maybe 20 minutes and you go back in the AC. Like that's how you have to do it.
But you wouldn't have like palm trees or anything down there. You know what
I know.
The whole thing, like, there's no water around.
It would just be,
you're in a peninsula. I know you don't see it from Orlando, but at least in your mind, you're like close to the ocean, kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, you are nowhere near anything but oil derricks and like land down there. I mean, I mean, I don't
know. But to your point, what's interesting, like some of the names behind this project, like all these ex-Disney Imagineers and stuff, like that's what kind of got me. I'm like, oh, like maybe this is serious. Like, I don't know. I still don't know about it. We'll see.
I mean,
just keep your eye on it.
I mean, back in the day, there was going to be a Disney park in St. Louis. It was going to be inside. Most of it was going to be on Laclede's Landing, right down on the, when they were building. It was actually when they built the Arch and the old Busch Stadium. They're really investing a lot of money into our riverfront. And the reason it didn't get built, again, talk about times changing, right? And this is kind of I don't know if this is true or not, but this is kind of the myth, is that because St. Louis is such a beer town because of Anheuser-Busch, that's like one of our major industries.
Oh yeah.
That Walt wouldn't have alcohol sales, right? Back in the day. And Anheuser-Busch, Gussie Busch, who kind of ran St. Louis at the time, said, no, we will sell beer. We sell beer everywhere in St. Louis. And so that was kind of the big stalemate. So they never built it. And, but I mean, we could have had it basically was going to be like an indoor kind of park right along the river, which would have been so cool to have.
Yeah.
St. Louis.
Yeah. And now, like I saw an article this weekend that Anaheim is getting more like restaurants that are selling alcohol, which is
cafe.
Yeah. Kind of wild to me. But
isn't that crazy? I know. Like,
but I just did that at Walt Disney World. Remember when we went to Liberty Tree? Like I got a beer. Actually, I think I got like a bourbon. I think I got an old fashioned, which is like, it's so weird to be in Magic Kingdom and doing that. Like And I still don't know how I feel about it because like I feel like I'm like breaking Walt's heart when I do something like that. You know what I mean?
That's my thing. It's like I'll have an old fashioned or something. Like I'm not a big drinker, but I kind of wish Disneyland would just stay pure, like stay dry, maybe except for Club 33. You know, because
Club 33 is the exception.
That's the thing. But you know, I kind of wish that they would not, even the Magic Kingdom, like because that's kind of the Disneyland of the East Coast. Like keep those two parks and just let you get drinks at it. I know it's
at least there's not like beer carts. You know, that's the best thing. Like you can go to a cart and get one. You know,
but I mean we're like a blink away from a beer cart at this point. You know, like you just know that's coming when they want
beer cart like a Magic Kingdom or Disneyland just seems so wrong though. You know, like and like I'm all fine with like having a drink here and there, right? Like you know me, but just to like have that visual like next to like the person selling the balloons in Disneyland and then right around the corner is a beer cart. It just doesn't seem right.
It's gonna be like the ball game, right? Bush Light here, Bud Light, get your Bud Light. So like it'd be dry.
Yeah. So like and like I'm all for like having a drink, like I said, but like I do like those two parks being dry, as like Vera Mike is saying too, right? Like it just seems like that's what they were built for, right? And I just like it, you know. I love it when I'm at Disneyland and it's like that, you know. But now Carnation Cafe is getting something.
Yeah, it's
I guess Blue Bayou had it too because we had hurricanes in Blue Bayou.
We did. I know you were so bad.
I know.
All right, 407-413-9395, 407-413-9395.
When I'm at Blue Bayou, I feel like I might as well be in Club 33 because I'm like that close. So
that's the thing. And I mean, it is table service dining, so it's not like you're walking around the park actively. Like with a
that's why it feels different.
That's the thing is I don't want it to be like Natty Lights, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, beer bongs and stuff like that. Like it's a frat party.
Because then at that point you're at Cedar Point, you know, and like
Six Flags St. Louis. I know. It's the whole thing is it's a fine line. But I mean, again, you know, if you had asked us this when we started the podcast, you know, I'm gonna have, like you just said, you had at Liberty Tree, you had a beer, right?
Yeah.
You had a what and where? Because I know
that
would have been obscene that you had a beer at the Magic Kingdom. And you know, now it's like
or us having hurricanes at Disneyland. It does not seem right, but
anyway. So
but to your point, at least is that I didn't mean us to get down this topic. I just thought I saw an article about that. But yeah, like as long as it stays like at the table service restaurants, then I can be okay with it. But like, I just don't want it spreading, you know, it's family time, right? Those are like those family parks.
No, I agree. All right. 407-413-9395, 407-413-9395. I got about 10 good minutes left in the show. So you can get in because we had 3 coming in at the same time a few minutes ago. So the phone lines are wide open right now, so give us a call. Actually, I will post the.
How about a shout out to Brian and Ricky celebrating their anniversary? Did you see like those wedding photos that Ricky's mom put out? Like I didn't even recognize them.
Like, I did not see them. See, that's
did they get like married like at a destination? Do you remember? Like I didn't like know her back then, so
I know they got married on a beach.
Okay, it looked very beach like.
It was in Jamaica.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
All right, we have a call. Hey, who's joining us?
Hi, Mike. Hey, Scott. It's Paul from New Jersey.
What's up, Paul?
Oh, hey, Paul.
How you guys doing?
Good.
Hanging in there like a hair in a biscuit.
Hey, do you mind sharing? Like, did you call to leave a trip report? Because you were just getting down the day me and Mike left, I believe. So it'd be awesome to hear what your thoughts were on your July trip.
Yep.
Oh, correct. Yeah. No. I wanted to talk a little bit about that. We just missed each other. Once the flight was, it was rough. You know, it was a 2-hour delay and then 2 extra hours in the air circling Atlanta. I guess there was the storms and the traffic patterns. But by the time it dumped me down, the rest of the trip was fantastic. I did jot a couple notes down. My 3 highlights probably were, one, we got to stay at BLT, which was my first time, and it was Lakeview BLT. Man, except for the Magic Kingdom itself, you can see everything on property, and it just amazed me. Like I sat out that window and I'm like, oh, there's Everest again. You know, oh, there's Tower of Terror. And it's like a whole map of the park right in front of you out the glass. I actually, and then the proximity of that hotel to everything else, I absolutely loved it. It was fantastic.
I'd argue that a lake view is better than a theme park view room to some extent because like you see the sunrise on that. Like if you're an early riser like that, nothing beats that morning view. You see the ferries coming in to start the day. Like that is just something about that view.
Oh, love it. I didn't get the theme park view yet to compare them, but you're not going to tell me it's a bad view. I mean, like, I was watching, I was giving the boats names, the lifeguards names. I was sitting there going, oh, there goes George going to work, at a 7 o'clock shift, or
That's
Hey,
great.
Tim.
Steve's pulling the boat out right now. Like, I was entertained all day just in front of that window. I must have taken 18 pictures just in front of that window.
Yeah, I get it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was probably the one highlight. The second highlight is the first time, even for as many as I've been using Genie Plus, loved it. Thought about what you say, Mike, on the show so many times. Like, I thought about it, like, the people in line and me are paying the same for the park ticket. So for a marginal amount more, I get to skip the line and then line them up and then just ride them in a row at a certain point in the day. It was fantastic doing it. I got to do it at I tried it at the 3 parks. I tried it at Magic Kingdom. I tried it at Epcot. We tried it at Hollywood Studios. I couldn't even say one was better or worse. Hollywood Studios ended up, I know that's a highly recommended one, and we only had, that was the last day we were leaving was the Friday, was the only day we got to Hollywood Studios. And I said, you know what, we're only going to be in here for a few hours. Let me try it. Man, it well made the day worth it. Got everything I wanted done in just a few hours. It was a fantastic experience.
Yeah, it can save, because like I said, we didn't get to the park at the studios that one day with Paige until around lunchtime, and we still got everything we needed to get done. Now we had to hustle that day. We wore ourselves out, but it allowed us to do twice as much, if not more, than we would have stand by everything else. I mean, it did. And so we got more value out of that one day ticket that we bought Paige, which cost us a fortune. Yes, we had to pay more to get the Genie Plus, but we got more value out of the ticket itself. So, you got to look at it that way.
Absolutely. You guys always talk about it. I know Pam's big on it too, right? Time is money.
Yeah.
So if you're already spending, whatever, I mean, I know I have an annual pass, but I know per day tickets are like $140, $150. If you're in the park for what, eight hours, that's $20 an hour, not quite, but, and then you're just tagging on another, what, $18, $20 for Genie Plus, and you get so much more done in half the time. No, I'm completely sold on it. It is a shame. I get people who are sticking to the fact that we used to get this for free, but everything evolves. You either love it or you don't. And especially if you're there paying the money for the ticket anyway, that little bit of an investment more makes the day 3 times as great.
That's a good point. And Pam, we're just real quick, Pam Forster, from the time I started working for the agency, she always talked to me about cost versus value, right? There's a difference between what something costs and the value. And I've kind of started to see what, she says that, you are spending money, that's your cost, but what's the value you're getting in return? So, you got to pay that cost to buy the ticket, but if you can pay a little bit extra and get way more value out of the money you're paying for that ticket, then it makes sense. Even if you're paying a little bit more, but if you're getting a bigger bang for your buck overall, then that's a way better value. So that's a good cost proposition. So good point there. I'm glad you brought that up, and I'm glad you had a good experience with it. That makes me happy.
Yeah, and the other, I think that's one thing I wanted to bring up for anybody who's maybe listening, is one thing that turned me off the last few trips where I didn't do it is people are like, well, I don't want to have my nose in my phone all day. Other than asking a few people who had used it before and maybe watching 1 or 2 YouTube videos, I instantly felt like a pro, and I spent very little time on my phone just refreshing or looking at the next thing to line them up. It wasn't a bother at all. So yeah, it's a really good tool.
Nice.
Yeah, Scott, have you've seen that it's become way easier to use, right?
Yeah, yeah. I used it even our last trip. I used it at Animal Kingdom like before the cruise, and like it was a day where like no one was in the park. It was like a really slow day. I was like, well, I probably didn't actually need this, but yeah. So I use it every now and then, like if I know like I'm not going to be back for a while, or I haven't done this park in a while, or there's this one attraction I really want to do and I'm limited on time, like I will do it then. But I definitely don't do it every single day that I go. But I definitely see the value. Paul, so what was number 3 on your top 3?
The third one would have been, and I know it's not different than Extra Magic Hours, but I think it was the first time I did because I was at BLT, did the not the paid for party, but the extra hours at Epcot. And, again, people want to say, hey, we used to get this for free, we used to get that for free. Well, you still get that for free. And we walked on to Ratatouille. It was fabulous. We had a dinner at Via Napoli. We were there, we got out of dinner like 9:30. Now you're into those extra hours. And we just did a couple things walking right on. It was great.
That's awesome.
And again,
I mean, everything's a highlight. I love it there. I always love my time there. If I would have got to see you guys, it would have jumped to number one on the list. But we can't have everything.
For a moment there, I thought we were going to see each other at the airport because of your flight delays.
That day was a nightmare. The whole flight day, because we were trying to get out. It took us forever to get out. It took you forever to get in. So that day was just a mess when it came to air travel. I'm just telling you.
Yeah, it crossed my mind. I was sitting there going to myself, wait a minute. I'm hitting you guys up on Twitter, and I'm going, what happened was out of Newark, this was a weird start to the day. They canceled our flight. And 4 minutes later, we're driving, and they didn't cancel it with notice. We're driving to the airport, and we get the text, your flight is canceled. And we're all in the car panicking. And then 4 minutes later, literally 4 minutes later, you've been rebooked on a different number with a different seat. And I'm thinking, oh my God, that's okay. Thank God. I didn't have to turn the car around, just keep going. That's bad news immediately followed by good news. Who doesn't want that? Now we do our whole trip, the whole thing in Atlanta. We land, and we had used their car service, and nobody's there. So I'm following the instructions. I made sure I walked to where I was walking to. It says, if you get there and nobody's there, call this number. So I did. And they're like, oh yeah, well, we had your flight is canceled. They don't update us with the new flight number. And I'm like, didn't think about that. And in the air, I didn't exactly think I could call you. They were great. They turned right around. They come back. But while I was waiting for the car, I'm sitting there going, Scott and Mike are in the airport somewhere. I might be able to still pull this off.
Yeah.
It crossed my mind. We would have had a better luck that day in that airport than at meeting at Magic Kingdom.
I was there forever. I was there till midnight that night.
But no, the trip was great. The one thing I did want to get is when I got back from it, though, I started catching up on the podcast, probably in reverse order from when I was away. And I just today finally got them a couple weeks off, though. When you guys were talking to Brandon in West Virginia, Uncle Orville.
Yeah, Uncle Orville.
About his idea. You two guys having an expansion draft for a park in the Mitten and a park in the Midwest. Please do that. That sounds absolutely fabulous.
We need to do that. We probably won't be this week, but probably here before the end of August, I would say.
And Scott, your idea was exactly true. Hey, we have fun with them. We talk about them. I love grading them out. But it's year zero. What's going to happen 5 years down the road?
Exactly. You don't know.
Like I'm looking at the last, I'm trying to start. Now you got me thinking. When I used to take the notes on them so I could tweet you guys about them, I would tweet it and forget it. Now I'm saving my sheets. What do we want to go back in 3 and 5 years and look at these? I'm going to start cataloging these.
You need to.
Because,
So you might think Mike is the winner initially, but no. I'm playing the long game here. I'm thinking about my prospects and how they develop over time. Yeah,
that's exactly right, though. That's exactly right. Because here's the deal. So everybody knows, right? On Sunday nights, right before the live show, I go pick up my Taco Bell. So the Cardinals, during their game today against the Cubs, which we actually won, which is a miracle, we shut them out. During the game, we traded away, because it's our fire sale. We traded away Jordan Hicks, which is our fireballer reliever. We traded away one of our starting pitchers and another reliever. We traded 3 guys during the game. And so after the game, I'm listening to the sports call-in show. Poor guy hosting the shows, taking the calls like we are right now. And these people, we got some great prospects, but I mean, they're like AAA guys, right? They're minor leaguers, but they're top ranked pitchers from the Rangers and from the Blue Jays. We got like 5 really good, high ranked AAA pitchers for these 3 pitchers that are all going to be free agents come the end of the season. We were not going to re-sign them anyway. They were going to be out the door. We're 12 games out of first. So we were not going to get anything for them anyway. These people are calling in like, we got nothing for these guys. I'm like, you guys are idiots. That's why I don't listen to sports talk anymore. Dude. Because you were going to get nothing for these guys in 2 months. We're not going anywhere. We just fleeced these people for 5 good, pitchers we might have for 10 years. Anyway, that was
they're not Tiger fans, obviously, because we do fire sales every year. So I know what it's all about to get them those prospects.
We did okay. We are okay. We did the best we could. Yeah, but they thought we were going to get Verlander or something for, no, that isn't how this works. We are the seller this time.
Yeah.
Usually we get the star. Anyway, good point though, Paul. It got me fired up.
Yeah, Scott brought it up on that one show, and it's I'm looking back at my notes here, and I'm loved the resort restrooms Riviera pool bathroom pick, because that's one that I wanted to kind of keep in my secret, but it's out there. But what if they decide to make that a storage room, and the yachtsman bathrooms that Scott quoted, they double in size, and it's just that they pump in different music, and it changes. Or
maybe they change the paper towel or something. You never know.
What if they upgrade the ones in the breezeway at the Magic Kingdom there between the Adventureland and Frontierland? What if?
And I was gonna say, your imagination bathroom keeps getting busier and busier every time I'm there now, Mike. So like, I don't know what's going on with that. I think word's getting out that it exists. So I think that its value is dropping a little bit.
I agree. I know that happens.
I was thinking of my favorite resort restroom, which wasn't on the list, but I'm like, maybe I don't want to say which one it is. So,
oh man, well you gotta like DM us like a private message with whatever that is.
You know our email.
What's funny is like we didn't even give the best one, which is like at the hoop-de-doo, like with the photo,
big mural.
I'm like, how did I not put that in my favorite resort bathroom? I don't know.
We caught all kinds of flack immediately. Like the show had not been out but like 19 seconds, and we were getting messages. I was like, holy cow, did that thing already go out?
I don't think we get more feedback than any other episode than the drafts.
Yeah, totally, 100%, man. It's like, I didn't know the thing published yet, because it auto publishes like at 8:05 or something. Yeah, it's like, okay, I guess it's out. Anyway, well, we got to roll because we're at the top of the hour, but it's so good to hear from you. And don't be a stranger. Give us a holler next Sunday if you can.
Great talking to you guys. Have a good week. Thank you.
You too, buddy. You too, Paul. Always great talking to you, Paul. Take care. All right. So that real quick, Cynthia's question: past trips been an electric car out of Walt Disney World. Why are there not more EV chargers on property? I would imagine they're moving that way. It's just with Disney, I think everything just goes slow. I see them, but you're right. There's probably not a lot of them.
Yeah, there's not that many. And I think they're like in weird spots too. Like, I don't know. I guess I'm not really like looking for them because I normally don't have an electric car, but yeah.
I mean, at the parks, it seems like they're up front. I see them at Epcot, right? They're right up there.
That's right. Maybe that's the hack to get a closer parking spot.
I know they're right in the front at Epcot, but I wonder about the resorts. Like, I haven't really seen them at like Pop Century or Beach, but again, I never look. But I imagine, because obviously there's a lot more people buying EVs now, so they got to have more places.
A lot of people drive there, like, I mean, it's a lot of people go to Walt Disney World. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. And I mean, that's kind of
maybe that's going to be in the next big meeting, that's not the
smell-o-vision.
Yeah.
smell of it's on parade. Very few resorts have them. That's interesting. Yeah, they definitely need to address that then. I'd definitely let them know, because that's interesting. I'll have to ask Joe, because Joe drives his Tesla down all the time. Be somebody good to reach out to. Anyway, all right, we got to run because we are at the top of the hour, but thanks for all the great calls, great conversation. Scott, thanks again for playing through the pain with that big sunburn today.
Yeah, I'm exhausted from the weekend and the sunburn, but I try not to miss an episode. If I'm here, I don't want to miss it, right? Like sometimes I'm traveling, I'm just gone. That's how it is. But like, glad that I love doing the shows on Sunday nights. It's fun talking to the listeners, and I had a good one tonight.
All right, we got some great shows coming your way this week. I know we have some awesome listener questions this Wednesday, because I saw some coming in earlier this week and putting them in the inbox, and they're going to be fun. So join us Wednesday for listener questions, Friday for another fun roundtable show. So we're going to have more fun shows coming your way this week. Don't forget, our shows always brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. We'll be standing by all week to help you plan an amazing Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise Line, or Adventures by Disney trip over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link. It's over at beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And a sincere thank you to the patrons of the Be Our Guest Podcast. You guys make all this possible. Thank you so much for that. You can help us out by just supporting us. It's just $5 a month over at patreon.com/beourguestpodcast and get that bonus show. It's called Mike in the Midwest. Give Scott a follow on the social media at Epscott, EPSCOT, on Instagram, Twitter, and Threads. I'm in the same places at Be Our Guest Mike. And join us next Sunday night, 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. We'll be taking your calls live as we start August here on the BOGP Open Line. All right, for Scott, I'm Mike, wishing you a great Sunday night or Thursday. If you're checking us out on the feed, stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon. Boom. Good stuff.
We got there. Woo.
We did.
Elizabeth just messaged me, dinner is ready. Like, I'm not hungry at all. Like, because like I played golf later, so I had like a later lunch, like I don't even want to think about eating, but we'll see what she's got.
It might be good. I wouldn't say you're not hungry.
I know.
Feels like lasagna or something.
I'm trying to see if I feel like I smell like some kind of garlic toast of some sort, so it could be some kind of like pasta. That's normally when we have that. So
I was thinking that. That'd be good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, have a good one.
All right.
Text. I don't know if Ricky's gonna be there or not tomorrow, so I'll text. I'll just text the whole group and see what she says.
Okay. Just let me know. All right. Sounds good.
All right.
Bye. See you. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.